Okay, this is an interview. I'm interviewing Diana Bell. She's an assistant principal at Hopper Middle School. Good afternoon or good morning,
Good
Ms.
morning, Officer Berryman.
First off, I want to thank you for doing the interview with me. This is a project for school, so I'm getting graded on this.
Well, I'm honored.
First question I want to ask you is, where are you from?
I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay, how long have you been a Texas resident?
I've been a Texas resident since 2005, right after Katrina. And that's 9 years.
Okay. How long have you been an assistant principal?
I've been an assistant principal for 1 year.
In my office. Okay.
And what type of position, like were you a teacher before you became an assistant principal?
Before I became an assistant principal, I was the academic achievement specialist, but they classified me as the behavior interventionist, focusing on students with challenges.
Okay, and could you, is that what a behavioral interventionist is?
Yes, a behavior interventionist basically intervenes with students that are having issues, providing them strategies to be able to cope in the classroom, supporting teachers with students that are having those challenges. My position here at Hopper Middle School afford me to work with assistant principals and giving, just supporting our kids, our struggling kids with behavior concerns.
Okay. And you work at Hopper Middle School, of
Yes.
course, and it is in the South Air school district.
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you taught before you were a behavioral interventionist?
Yes, prior to me becoming a behavior interventionist, I was a Project AIM coordinator, which was a one-year position funded by Title I. And that position provided me an opportunity to become a liaison between school and home, bringing parents into our school community and bringing what's happening in our school to the community, which prompted me to work endlessly with having parent empowerment and what have you. And prior to doing that, I worked as a classroom teacher for 16 and a half years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And then you decided to become a principal. So, in your principal position or assistant principal position, what's a normal day for you?
A normal day for me is always working with our clients, which is our children, trying to find opportunities to enrich their lives through, meaningful instructions with the teachers, working hand in hand with teachers to provide an environment that's conducive to learning. Sometimes even, putting out fires with parents and teachers. So, being an assistant principal is never boring because we touch every element of this campus, from the custodial staff all the way up to the classroom, dealing with students and instruction. So our day is never boring. It's always something.
Okay, so basically, it sounds like it's a lot of work involved in being a principal.
It is a lot of work in being involved with being an assistant principal, because we're held accountable for not only instruction but for student behavior, for teachers doing what they're supposed to do as far as our kids, even with parents. Being an assistant principal even means being a counselor at times, because we have to kind of soften the roles, so to speak, so that we can have our parents come in and be supportive and be partners in our endeavor, which is to educate children.
Okay, so in being a assistant principal, are there like special certifications involved?
Yes.
What are they?
I had to, of course, take the prerequisite for educational leadership. I got my graduate degree at Prairie View, which was consists of, I believe, 32 hours. And then I had to take the Texas principal exam, and I was certified EC through 12th grade. So I can act as a principal or assistant principal in elementary grades all the way up to high school.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to be an assistant principal, I mean, that's like standard certifications that everyone has to have?
Yes, it's standard not only for just becoming a principal, but if you ever want to go into some type of leadership position within the school district, it is required that you have that principal certification. In other words, it's almost like a leadership certification.
Okay.
That has to be renewed every 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, through the Texas Educational Agency.
Okay, so then I guess you consider yourself to be a leader.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Moving people, working with people.
Do you does your position require like continued training? Because I know with being a police officer, we have to continue train. We have to continue education.
Well, the state requires us to have, as educators, requires us to have 25 hours, per year in professional development. I've been blessed that, through my educational experience and, that I've acquired over those 25 hours. Yes, it does require that, and it is mandated that we have those requirements. If not, we have not met our obligations as educators.
Okay.
And we also have a year, to get those hours.
Yeah, that's kind of like the way we do too.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article regarding the responsibilities of a principal, and how does your position differ from an actual building principal?
Truly, it doesn't, because as an assistant principal, when you are a part of a group, a team, like I'm a part of a team with the 8th and 7th grade principal, we divide the campus responsibility. Of course, the principal is the overall overseer of what we do, but we touch every aspect of the campus, from, again, dealing with the building maintenance. That's my partner, Mr. Kimball. Mr. Gibson is the crisis. Although we touch every part, he's the person, the contact person for that. Then Mr. Gibson, he's the contact person for emergency and crisis management. And then I'm the person that's in charge of, educator's handbook and also textbooks and what have you. But at the same time, all of our responsibilities as an assistant principal is to support students and make sure that we're providing a safe and orderly campus. And also, we are appraisers of teachers. We have certain responsibilities that we have to do walkthroughs, making sure that the teachers are following the curriculum and that they're, again, providing an environment that's conducive to learning. On my part, I'm in charge of every elective teacher on this campus, though I am the assistant principal for 6th grade.
Okay, so you not only handle the 6th grade children, but you also handle teacher situations or
teacher evaluations, teachers situations, parental conferences. Also, one of my responsibilities is to bring our parents into our community, finding opportunities to be able to do so. And I think this year alone, we as a new 6th grade, as a new assistant principal, I was able to carry on some of the things that I did as a behavior interventionist, which is promote parental involvement through our parent empowerment that I chair. But this year was my last year. I'm hoping to turn that over to someone else, and also bring activities, showcasing our students.
Okay, so do you guys like handle referrals as well, like student discipline? You do that?
Absolutely. I think the majority of our job is spent with handling discipline referrals. I think we spend a bit over 75% of our job, if not better, focusing on discipline.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes.
So that on average is like a 75%?
Yes.
Kids are bad. If you don't mind answering this question, how much of a pay difference are the two positions? Like your position as an assistant principal up against the building principal? Is it like a huge pay difference?
I don't think there's a huge pay difference. Well, yeah, I think there is. I think it's like maybe a $15,000, if I'm not mistaken, difference, 10 to 15,000 maybe. I'm assuming, yeah. Because I know that in searching for, principalship, not that that's where I want to be at this point in my life, because I feel like I still have a lot of training to do. I think that the principals were making like $90-something thousand, all the way up to $110,000-$115,000 a year, whereas an assistant principal in this district they start you off in middle school at $62,000 a year, based on where your level of administrative leadership is.
Okay, so is that a position that you're hoping to reach, like being a building principal one day?
To be very honest with you, I don't know my direction. I do know that I would love to finish working here, seeing the 6th graders through 8th grade, and eventually working at a high school for a few years. And after, I complete my doctoral degree, I'm hoping to work as a consultant, or maybe doing something at central office. Not quite sure where I want to be.
Okay.
At this point.
All right. Well, last question. Thinking about the position that you're in right now, the assistant principal, would you go back and change becoming an assistant principal? Like, would you have changed it and stayed in the classroom, or?
Absolutely not. Simply because I knew that in 2011, that was my year to start venturing off. I sat in that classroom, I think on the very last day of school, trying to figure out what can I have done, reflecting on what could I have done differently to make a greater impact on my students. Then I began to think, what can I do to make a greater impact on just teaching and educating people, and that included teachers as well. I knew that it was my time. So no, I would not go back to teaching, but I would always keep myself fresh and new to what's happening in the classroom, simply because my business is education. And education means educating students as well as training teachers.
Okay. Well, this concludes the interview, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview for me for my project in school. And I thank you very much, and that's it.
Thank you so much.